I want to tell you a story about a woman who genuinely believed she had zero creativity. She thought she couldn't even draw a stick figure, and being creative just wasn't beneficial anyway. And that woman was me. For years, I carried this deep seated belief that I wasn't artistic, I wasn't creative, and honestly, I didn't even really try. I mean, I knitted here and there, did the things, did arts and crafts with my grandmother, who was an amazing artist. And I just didn't have that belief that it mattered that I could paint. And now I'm a professional artist and I'm the creator of Transformative Art Healing, a process that has now changed lives all over the world, which I am super excited and grateful for. So, this is how it happened and why it matters for you. So, I grew up in an environment where art wasn't celebrated or really encouraged. Somewhere along the line, I decided that creativity just wasn't for me. It wasn't beneficial. Um, and once that belief planted itself, it became my truth. And it was my truth. It was sort of this like inner battle, I guess, because I've always been like a highly intuitive person. So every time I saw someone paint something beautiful or create something magical, I would think like, wow, I wish I could do that, but I can't. Like, I had friends who were artists. Like I said, my grandmother was an artist, and it was just this weird feeling. Does that sound familiar at all to you? For many of you, it's not just art, it's healing. You've told yourself, I'm not intuitive enough to do that work. Maybe like me, like it doesn't matter. There aren't that many benefits to it. Or maybe you've said something to yourself like, I'm not skilled enough to help people in that way. I'm not creative enough to make something beautiful or meaningful. I'm, just here to help people, or who knows. And for me, it all changed in one unexpected moment. I was on a completely different path. So years ago, I was doing a trauma-informed healing assignment, something totally like unrelated to art. And I was working through childhood trauma using EFT tapping, and something inside me just cracked open. And I had no idea at the time. It was, like I said, it was completely unrelated. Um, and it was like all the walls I had built around my creativity just dissolved. And I was simply unaware. And not long after, I was working through this assignment and discovered I could actually draw. Like I literally drew a girl, a house, a barn. Anyway, so not long after that, I signed up for a class that was um, painting divine lady faces. And I remember picking up the brush and thinking, well, this will be embarrassing. But since I surprised myself with that assignment, let's give it a go. So, but what came out of me? It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even technically, right, but it was a face and I was surprised. It was mine and it had soul. it spoke to me. And that's when I realized that creativity, it isn't about skill. It's about expression. It's about letting what's inside you move without judgment. Judgment is like such a left brain thing anyway. So that was the seed, one of the seeds that would become transformative art healing. And if you're not familiar, it's a method that uses art not for aesthetics, but as a sacred language of the subconscious. And just like one of my students recently said, it just, all of the testimonials are so amazing. But she said, I didn't think I was creative at all, but transformative art healing unlocked something in me I didn't even know was there. And I hear these stories time and time again. And even, my own sessions are just, they're just mind blowing. I'm in awe. So you might be thinking, okay, well, what does this have to do with healing trauma or limiting beliefs or burnout? Well, it has everything to do with it because here's the truth. Creativity and healing are deeply connected. And that isn't something that we often hear about. But when you allow yourself to create without judgment, when you just get into the flow, not looking at the outcome, you access parts of the subconscious that words can't reach. You release stored emotion through color, shape, texture, and movement. You bypass the logic brain that is always trying to analyze and control and, yeah, the logical thinking brain. Anyway, so in transformative art healing, the art isn't about skill. It's about translating energy, getting things out that are just kind of holding us back. The scribble, the shape, the symbol, it's what the body is saying. Here's what's ready to go. Here's what's ready to be released. Here's what needs to go in order for you to live the life that you really want to live. So, one of the reasons that transformative art healing works so well is because it removes the pressure. You don't need to create something beautiful. You don't need, if you can write your name, you can do this. You don't need to understand what you're working on. Let me say that again. You don't need to understand or even really know what you're working on. You just need a topic. That's it. You don't need to get it right. You just need to show up, follow the process, and let the energy move. It's beautiful. It's like fun and easy. And because there's no performance pressure, it's safe for people who've never picked up a paintbrush, who can't draw a stick figure or a smiley face. It's perfect for people who've been told they're not creative. In fact, that's something that a session could really help you break free of. Um, Healers who want a method that is effective but gentle for themselves and for their clients, without having to hear all of those heartbreaking stories time and time again. So for me, art didn't just open a creative door, it healed something deep within me and continues to do so. So it gave me a way to express emotions I couldn't put into words, which was something that was challenging for me anyway. And it also gave me this like sacred ritual that connected me to my higher self, to my true self, and even a deeper spiritual connection too. It gave me confidence to own my creative identity, to break through those blocks, because even as an artist, all artists struggle with creative blocks. And at the same time, confidence. So it's what I see in my transformative art healing students when they realize, like, wait, I can do this and I can help others do it too without being exhausted at the end of the day, and without, like, if you're on the client side of things, without having to talk about it, right? It's not just about making art. It's about making a shift from self-doubt to self-expression, from being blocked to freedom, from I can't to I am, and standing confidently in that. So let's try something right now. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be big or fancy. So close your eyes. Think about something that feels stuck for you right now. The first thing that comes to mind is the perfect thing. So open your eyes and, without overthinking, draw the first shape or scribble that comes to mind really fast. Don't think about it. Don't make it pretty. Don't make it right. Just let it come out on the paper. That is the start of your own creative healing journey right there. That has more meaning and more information than your logical brain would ever begin to think about. It's something that needed to come out, and it just did. And that's just a small part of the process. So if my story resonated with you and you've ever thought that you're not creative enough, or simply not good enough, that you can never be whatever it is you want to be, then you're going to love my next video, a healing session you'll never forget, real client results. I'll show you the transformations that happen when we combine art, energy work, some EFT tapping, and a few other things without needing to talk about the past, without needing to talk about anything. You just picking a topic, really broad. And if you're ready to feel it for yourself, you can grab my free masterclass from Stuck to Shifted, and the link is going to be below. And again, completely free, no strings attached. You'll experience a little taste of the process and see what is possible. And before you go, please subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series, and you'll get some notifications and all the things. So I would love it if you like this video, if it spoke to your heart. I'd love to hear from you. So you can comment below, like you can even just give me an emoji or something. Let me know where you're from. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, have you ever told yourself that you're not creative? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. And please remember, always, always remember, you're not broken. You're not broken. You're not a non-creative. There's no such thing as being non-creative. You're just waiting for the right path to unlock what's already inside of you.